It's alright, it's okay. Doesn't really matter if you're old and gray. It's alright, I say it's okay. Listen to what I say. Rob Smith is September 16, 2025. And I've got stuff here to do. One thing I need to do is get over to my YouTube page. One thing I didn't set up. These are pencils and a little bit of inking I did. Hold on, I'll get to that in just a moment. I did some rough pencils that I plan to add on to add color to, and I can't find my page. I've had a rough day today. My Twitter accounts were attacked, and I need to go and check passwords, but I want to get this started because I'm afraid I'll get into it. I'll never get back to this. So I want to get to it while I can. Make sure it's okay. This may actually be set up a little better than it was. So it's been what a day. But I was getting a lot of stuff done, and one of the things I got done was this little piece I did. This has been maybe 2 years ago. Oh, actually, there's a date. Oh, no, scanned. It was scanned, but I believe I did the artwork 2 or 3 years ago. I finally scanned it. It is available on Fine Art America, and I need to put it on some other pages too. But I'm just glad I got it up there. That's a start in the right direction. Now, why am I'm showing this as, it's weird. Okay, I need that to go away. I was having trouble getting on the U.S. Post Office's site, which seems where, I think maybe trying to get in there, tripped a wire, and suddenly I couldn't get into my Twitter accounts. I've still not been able to get post office, trying to update my, move this up here so I can see it better. I got a screen up there and one over here. Okay, so this is now available on Fine Art America, and I should post something more about that. But so you can get this. I didn't. I don't remember putting this because this original piece is for sale if someone wants it. But you could go on there and get a print of this. Actually, I've digitally gone back and cleaned up the sky, little things. But you can get it on a mug, you can get it on a towel, you can get it on almost anything. And it is a little expensive over there. I won't. I know. I'm well aware of that. I don't know what to do about it. I want to I was going to just go ahead and get some of this more ink with a pen that inks better than whatever here. Hold on. Yeah, meetings for me have become a really good place to get a lot of work done. I also got the rough pencils done for my annual Christmas card, or rough thumbnail, really. Not actual. I had a black pen here. It's now not here. Maybe this is blue. Actually, here. Always find out because you can. Worse than I won't even. Yeah, it's a black pen. Wow, it's not working well. Centric learning, not helping me. Blue too. Well, I'll just. Well, how are you all doing? Anyone here? And I'll be getting to things here. Give me just a moment to find a black ballpoint pen, which I didn't completely. That's completely worthless to me here. Ballpoint pen. Had one handy, then I'll let it get away from me. That's why there's sometimes marks on the back of artwork. Trying to pens out. All right. I was going to use brushwork, but I think I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to kind of. This is an eagle. Be too specific so I can get the watercolor in. Then I'll be more specific. Yeah, Sunday marked 1 year since my Facebook, and then as the next 2 months went on, all my accounts were hacked into. Looks like it may be happening again. Last year it looked like it was probably targeted, and golly, I can't believe this is happening again. I really don't like it. That's going to be good enough for that, actually. I don't need too much detail. Let's do a bunch of Christmas. There's a bunny with a Santa suit. Again, I don't want to get too specific, just enough guidelines. It's actually how I've been doing watercolor for the last almost 4 decades, 3.5 decades. This ballpoint pen and then watercoloring. I found it to be the fastest, most efficient way of doing things. And I was recently been trying not to do it that way, and it just wasn't working. So I'm back here again. That's good enough. Bunny's other ear right there. And a turtle Santa. Get just enough so I have some guidelines. Then I'll erase the pencils. And these were 24 hours ago. These were blank boards sitting in a where the heck this was sitting. I made these arms way too long. Of course, back here is a giant shell, which I'm not showing. Here, I'll fix that when I do watercolor and the inking part. So I'd do some. I'll fix that. That says that is okay. That's going to have one little fairy. I'm really hesitant about putting the ballpoint on this, but I think it'll make the best looking drawing now. Well, the open mouth does work so much better. Oh yeah, there was an angel in all this too. Where'd the angel went? I did that last night. I don't remember that. May still be a little satchel thing I have. So we're just realizing I'm wearing the wrong glasses. I'm not quite sure where they are. I'll probably just buried them on this table. And just real simple lines. lines just to follow better. Good enough. And I'll quickly take some of the pencils away, or all the pencil away. I'll just add watercolor to it. I have a whole bunch of pictures I pulled to do watercolor too. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not sure what I'll do here while I'm here. Do this for a little bit, just to make sure I get some drawing done today. As I said, I got another piece added to Fine Art America. I just need to add a lot more. Been organizing stuff. Someone came on here a couple days ago, or I guess when I last did the live, asking me about. I think what they were asking me about is working digital. I don't think they understood. They couldn't. They thought I was doing. What was I about to do something digital? And I do work digitally, but I draw too fast for the little machine things I've come up with. Oh, I haven't done this one. I'm not doing. It doesn't make sense. Some are very slow. Some are very methodical. Friend Jim Fern is very slow, and I think he would benefit from learning how to work digitally. The problem is we're older too, and a good argument is why start something new at this age. And I agree with that. Those were wise words. I forget who told me that, but someone was wisely pointed that out a number of years ago. And I agree with that. If it's working, no sense changing it, right? All right, let's attack a kitty here. I do like to work upside down. Got a thing of water. Looking for a brush I want to use. That's not the brush I want to use. Brush I want to use. All right. So it goes. Oh, I need my paints. And where did I put them? Well, what do I do with my paints? I had them. It was the first thing I set up, and that was probably my mistake. First thing I set up, so it's the first thing in this place. Oops. Yeah, I've got a whole mess of watercolor pictures, and I need to be scanning these in, and some of them aren't very good. Those I won't add. But the ones that are pretty good, or okay, or good enough, I'm going to add to Fine Art America. Had the watercolor tray, and I just don't know where. Well, it sure sounds bad. I thought I had everything here but the watercolor I need. That is ridiculous. Jade Raid? Bro, no, I'm not a member of the order, but I would like my watercolor. If you're a member of the order, I want to get you finding that. I just had them. How they do it? I don't know where it is. I had them. I don't have them. found it. Getting kicked under a little tray thing over there. Watercolor, I got it. Proceed. Same tray I used, been using since Ringling School of Art 40 years ago. But that's not the brush I wanted. This is the brush. All right, let's see what. You just got, you're not a member of the order? Are you going in, you tuning into the Pope every 7 a.m. on Sundays? You might be able to. My biggest problems I'm having, going back to the caricature thing on Saturday, just a lack of sense of humor people have these days. It's the reason I've kind of stopped doing events, because I need them a little brighter than they are. And I don't, and maybe they were at one time. I think folks have settled themselves down to such a weak way of thinking that they can't, the idea of humor is pretty far from them. And that's my lock. That's my stock and trade in the drawing stuff. Has always been. But the crowd just doesn't have it anymore. And I'm going to be still doing, I've agreed to do a number of events coming up, so let's see what happens. But I'll probably go away from all of them. Why am I bothering? It's just ridiculous. People taking things way too seriously. Or self-effacing, which is far worse. Oh, there's a whole bunch of jabber in here. What's going on? No, I just got recommended your channel just now. People should know what they're getting into before they get caricatures of themselves. Well, I don't do that Disney World, I'll say it nicely, garbage, but it's much, much worse than that. I do something that actually is about the person. I do storytelling. I want to tell who they are, what they're doing. I want to do it in a very humorous fashion. This is what I've been doing this for. I'm in my 47th year doing this. It's just that today, a lot of junk, mostly all junk, almost entirely junk being done involving what's called caricature today. So I really shouldn't call it caricature, and I tell folks don't call it that, because then they like, I don't, this stupid garbage of drawing two people, and you don't draw two caricatures of an individual. That's what you're drawing, individual. But that's because all they know how to do is junk. They don't know how to do good stuff. And that is unfortunate. It's just the dumbing down of society. I mean, I'm frustrated as all get out. So I'm doing funny animals, somewhat also for a similar reason. People have a sense of humor. All they see is anger. They see video games and TV, movies, music. It's all anger. Everybody's mad at something, it seems. And I'm mad about them being mad. No. I'm missing this here. People, is that watercolor brush pretty good? I started disliking them because they either leak, or clog. I don't know. I've had, this is actually a relatively recent one. I've got one here that's probably 22, 23 years old. I don't care. I'm not picky. I just want to get things done. I just want it to work. Damn thing needs to work, and I'm fine. It's just watercolor. When I saw Jack Davis, the Mad Magazine comic, Mad Magazine and movie, all the stuff Jack did, when I saw him use a cheap strip of watercolor, that's when I stopped buying Winsor Newton. And you can buy Winsor Newton if you want. You don't have to. You want the hell use whatever the hell you want. I mean, it's what works with you. I wouldn't follow whatever. I'd say go get a cheap strip of watercolor. I mean, if you're If you're up a tree about the thing is everybody's up a tree. Just go do it. The thing is get it done. Now the brush is important. I think. Don't. I've been doing this for over 4 decades. I guess I'm heading to my fifth decade. So I'm a little different animal. But for those starting out, they get a good brush is more important than a good paint. And I'm sure others say other things, but I won't listen to them. A lot of people trying to sell paint will have a link in their comments. I should do that. Link in their comments. Paint to buy. It doesn't matter. If that's what you use and it works for you, that's what you use. When you get a tree, if you're not getting the results you want, then you need to go look at something else. If you're getting the results you want, the key is results. You need to get something done. One of the stupidest things about art stuff is today is, do I feel it? Is it feeling? Garbage. Get it done. Get the work done. Then you're doing it. See, I'm not into the art world, and I don't tend to get along with artists. But I don't even like calling myself that because I don't. Again, we gotta get things done. And that's more important than anything else. I think it's important if you have some heroes or people you really look up to who do the painting stuff or drawing stuff. I'm not a watercolor. I'm not good. Don't follow me. My friend Mark Bennett would come up here and say, "Don't watch it. Don't watch. Don't follow. Don't follow. Don't follow." That's what Marvin would say. I do what works. Marvin has techniques and ways, and he's right. He's he's an outstanding painter. I just do what works. All I care about. Yeah, other artists don't care for me at all. They're all touchy-feely, and it's a bunch of nonsense. I don't even have patience for it. I think it's why a lot. I think that backward mentality of all the motion is what stops a lot of people from getting in and doing really good, getting good results of whatever it is they're trying to create. Don't let that nonsense get in your way. But hey, they'll let you know hey, do what you want to do. If you really want to sell it, then hey, I know what I could do to sell, and I'm not doing it. I'm not doing half-naked women and all other garbage. It just don't make no sense. That's me. You want to go ahead? You want to do it? Go ahead. A lot of people like that. It sells like crazy. One thing is, I'm doing this comic book that has kind of not a lot, has a little manga feel to it, but I'm even getting flustered with that. Now, the one that I'm doing here, this is one of my teachers was a fellow named Greg Hildebrand of the Hildebrand Brothers, and I admit this purple I'm using is a result of those classes a long time ago. And Hildebrand Brothers, a Star Wars poster, and so much else did. Greg just died. We've lost some great painters here in the past, 9 months. Greg's one of them, and Robert McGinnis, and Mark Kunzler. Great guy. Wow, are they some? I have no interest in it'd be nice. I don't wish I could do what they do. What especially Kunzler did, his attention to historical detail and accuracy is out of this world. Unbelievable. Generally unknown today because people don't like history because they're morons. Let's just be honest. Know your history. Good. Well, do what you feel like. If that's what you want to make it. If people are tuning in, I was told I should be trying to get people to tune in, but I'm just going to be me here as I am. Today's been not a good day. As I said, it was a year ago Sunday. I lost all my Facebook pages, and then it went after Instagram and Twitter and Spotify. I mean, I was wiped out all over the place. And then today, a year and 2 days later, my Twitter account was attacked. I think I salvaged two of them, but a third is gone. The one that's gone is one I typically put artwork up on, which is Rob Smith Jr. 2. But I put an appeal just here in the last 45 minutes, so let's see. Hopefully I get it back. But, and using purple is a good idea for using a color. All light is a color, and all shade is a color, and that's a good way to think of things when doing color. Something I learned from involved in, so I did a bald eagle. This is, maybe that's dumb. And I do it upside down. Oh, that's what you're asking. There's what you're asking more than anything. Why am I doing this upside down? I'm doing this upside down because your darkest brush stroke is going to be up here. And so then your light is, you've already got your light established. It's a quick way. I did I had to do fast watercolor caricatures 3.5 decades ago. You learn how, and they were watercolor, so they were really fast. I had to work really, really quick. That's how you get a crash course in stuff like this. So I was taking Hildebrand formulas and using them for quick caricature. I was working with some really good guys who really love watercolor. They're the folks who should be teaching. I don't know what Harvey Brown's doing. He moved out to, I think, New Mexico. He was outstanding paintings of buffalo soldiers. Really, really good. Great guy, too. It was weird he went out there. He's a native, born and raised as I in Florida. But he moved out there. I'm not even sure if he's still with us. He'd be he's in his 70s now. I was one of the people I lost when my Facebook page were hacked, and I haven't heard back. What's up? I could give some friends a call and probably find out. These are just little cards, 5x7s. Definitely speeding up here, and this is crescent board I'm working on. If you go to Artistic Whimsy on Facebook, that is a page that replaced my cartoon and illustration page. I only started it. I mean my cartoon illustration one got hacked away September 14th. I only started this one about 3 months ago, I think. 3 months. But one reason I'm told I should be doing live video, so here I am doing live video. The other thing is that it makes me draw, because I won't draw my own. I do not have a compunction. Hold on, I'm making a boo-boo, and I'm save myself here. See, I was doing the caricature thing for so long. I'm used to talking and drawing, because I'm always trying to find out what's going on with people. You can see a couple of those caricatures on Artistic Whimsy by Rob Smith Jr. on Facebook. A few of them on there. Ooh, I better get some contrast. Oh my gosh, Jaderade again. Hold on, it's time, but happened. Why? Oh, I meant, why did your Twitter accounts get hacked? I have no idea. I was trying to get on I have a P.O. box in Orlando. I was need to pay. It's so ridiculous how when I got that P.O. box in about 1990, it was $36. It is now that was for a year. It is now $244 a year. So I've got but my 6-month term is up and I need to pay it. And so I was trying to get on it, and then as I'm getting on, I'm also trying to get on Twitter, and suddenly my Twitter account goes bluey. I don't know if one had to do with the other. I couldn't get on the USPS site. I wish United States Postal Service would go completely private. They are, since 1970, they've been mostly private. A lot of people don't know that. They're not really, there's a quasi government entity, and they really need to be on their own. Because I think, I have no doubt they would function better than they're functioning now. I used to go into that post office in Orlando, and everybody would know me, and now nobody knows me. Nobody knows what I'm doing. They don't care that I think I'm the longest person with a P.O. box there now. Nobody cares. Longevity doesn't mean nothing to them. Well, to a lot of folks. But yeah, that Twitter account's not good. My Swampy's Florida's still there, and I have another one, and my Rob Smith Year 2 is not there. It is. I've repealed to get it back. I hope I will. But Swampy's Florida only has Florida stuff. Yeah, it is. I'm very proud of being there so long. I had no idea when I got it I'd still be there today. I didn't think about it. It was just, because I think I got just after I got married the first time. I thought I'd have it for a while. I was using it for gag cartoons. I was setting out portfolios of gag cartoons and other stuff. It's still, most people know that address more than any other address I've ever had. I haven't had many. I think I've had a total of 4 in my whole life, not counting the P.O. box. Oh shoot, I need that red in there. Watch what I'm doing. And one thing that really helps the watercolor is preconceived notions. I've always painted bags yellow. Always. I just naturally go to it. It doesn't matter what the subject is or what's going on. I've always done it. I remember I did some political cartoons in color, and there was a bag involved or something. I don't remember I made it yellow. Here I'm doing a little bit of too much brown, actually. All right, let me get some. Yeah, I've always said longevity is very important. Stick with, and then that includes moving. I don't understand why so many move to Florida. Stay where you are. That's where your family, where your friends, where you'll get the most support. It's a place to be. Even if everybody hates you, you have a better chance of succeeding where you're from than moving somewhere else and not knowing a soul and trying to recreate yourself. That's silly. Why go to all that trouble? And people will not dislike you as much as people may dislike you elsewhere. Then you're really in trouble. As I've seen many go through in Florida. Now, where are any of y'all from? Y'all are new. But then again, I do this all sorts of times. I'm not consistent. I'm trying to do some more during the day because I admit at night my voice gets low and I'm talking like this, I'm falling asleep. I'll try to do it during the day. I meant to do it earlier, but that Twitter hacking got in the way. I really need to go into Facebook and change that passwords. Don't forget to change your passwords occasionally. I think it's a silly thing to do. But all right. I do not want to lose my accounts again. I had some almost 4,000 people, 3,000 something on my personal page before the hacking, and now I only have 400. And a lot of the folks I can't get. Some of them are dead. Some were clients. One's a client over in Malaysia. And I was going to send her a friend request, but I probably should because she wanted me to be part of their convention this year. I think they've already had it. She probably can't find me. And a whole ton of clients I lost. Well, I've got robsmithjr.com. I got that in 1995, 96. I was doing work for a client, and the internet stuff was just coming together more and more. And this guy was setting up website names, and he said, hey, what website name would you like? I said, well, how about my name? He said, okay. And I got Rob Smith Jr. And wow, have I gotten contacted about, hey, kid, well, you saw that? No. Right now, I don't have a site. I'm not even using it. I was getting a lot of bad stuff coming at me. People asking, mostly asking for free drawings, and anyone who knows me knows I'll do the free drawings, but I don't mail anything, so they'd have to be next door for me to do it. Well, that's looking okay. Well, yeah. Well, I'm doing okay. I'm kind of partially retirement mode, I guess, or mostly. I don't see myself retiring. I too much of a working guy. I like to get things done. Results really pushes me. I don't know why. Get that more of that purple. And I do a series of little books for children involving Florida history, and that is a huge motivator. Is that we have so much trouble getting that out. Because people don't want history taught. It's in the way, they think. But I know you can't do anything without knowing your history. Everything's confusing otherwise. Oh, here, where else do I have puffy here? I have puffy stuff there, puffy stuff there, puffy stuff there. But I'm glad, so kind of doing that Santa picture is part of my. And you go to Fine Art America and see all sorts of paintings, work I've done. A little bit of digital, but not much. But all that stuff is for sale and whatever, plates, cups. If you don't know about it, you should. Now I'm going to go back over all this with a brush. I don't know if that's going to be today or not. Been frustrated. I haven't been able to get anything done involving Christmas the last few years. Just circumstances. That's one reason I'm working on it. Now, thank you all for being here, by the way. If you get a chance to click the thumbs up if you wish. If you don't want to, don't. It's up to you. I should have said that earlier, you know. That buddy in there. Now, and so I'm not sure who's still here. Jaderade, what kind of artwork do you do? You say it's dark. Is everybody in the dark? It's like the moon's out, or is it that someone forgot to pay the electric bill? It happens. Electric bills are so yesterday. Maybe that's why my Twitter account's gone. Is that why I'm working in the dark right now? I knew it was something. If you see me doing these, the kitty and the bunny, and you see something similar, yeah, the construction of the ad's generally the same. Just adding. I don't really teach art anymore, but when I did, there's just no reason. There's no business. There's no money in it. You know, unless you break off and do something independently and have people following you. It's wow, have I seen this business change? Holy cats. Animations. My elementary school art teacher had me doing animation. I was, I think I was 7, 8 years old, and we didn't have computers. We had a slide machine, and she had me doing animation on a slide machine. It's actually not all that much different. It's not all that much harder than doing it today. Today's kind of a click button thing. It's a little too easy. Now, what's your subject matter? Now, are you Gatorade? So do you drink Gatorade? Are you in Gainesville? Let's actually put you in my range. That stuff's, I've learned, not really good for you. Even though it was born and raised here in Florida, Gatorade was, that is. It's not real. And I'm always promoting things made in Florida. That's not good for you. Give it a pink nose. I'm really trying to be a cute here, and I try because I look again. I think young people today just don't get a chance to see happy anything. Everything's angry, and it just doesn't make sense to me. I think that I was brought up differently and grew up differently. That's why I see it all very differently. I got too much water on this brush. Dang it. I get a loose Gatorade. Okay. So yeah. But I need to be drinking more hydration. I was doing a bunch of work earlier this year where I was not probably hydrating myself. I'm sorry, I'm getting my voice low. I realize that. Like I'm not using my radio voice. And I admit I really don't tune in much into other YouTube things. I guess I should. I'm always trying to get things done. Trying to watch other things is tough. Though I will get on support. My friend Mark Serrati does a shaving program. He's a fellow cartoonist. Does a shaving program, and I'll tune into that just to support Mark. So he got me syndicated around the country as a political cartoonist. I still owe Mark a lot, even though I'm no longer doing that. Not only most everyone is no longer doing that. The idea of syndicated political cartoons is, yeah, they're still out there, and a number of friends who are doing it, but there's just no money. It's a lot of work. You got to deal with editors on top of it. Now, I like editors, but and I always could get syndicated again. I know I could, but I just don't. It's just a lot of work, and I don't think it's worth it. If I had a spouse, that would be different, but I don't. And that's the key. You really need a spouse who's really bringing in the money or helping you with it. And everyone I know who's syndicated has that, except for Mike Ramirez. Mike does it on his own. Mike's an unusual. I'm sure you see his political cartoons. But he used to be extremely well known, and he's just not the case anymore. In fact, I forget. I saw he's doing it for some publication that's pretty obscure. I mean, here's a guy who's racked up many Pulitzer Prizes, and there's no work. Bob Englehart is another one. He's someone else I haven't reconnected with. Bob was syndicated, and then he lost the spot the newspaper got. He was just happy as all hell to get a job with a little teen newspaper in Connecticut. Yeah, if he's getting $30 a week, I'll be surprised. Or $30, well, probably $60 a week. Oh, you have to love politics. My family's been in politics here in Florida for over 100 years, and I'm very involved. In fact, that's what the meeting was where I was doing these cartoons last night. Yeah, but I love it. It's just fun. But a lot of folks think politics are something they're not. But and I'll tell you, there are those who try to make it that way, which is real angry. Again, angry. And I know those in politics don't like me around because I'll make fun of whatever. Because I've been doing it by job. The political cartoons, radio people I've worked with. The idea is making fun of stuff. So that's what I do. I think that's why political cartoons aren't seen much anymore. Because, again, people have lost their sense of humor about it. And they lost general knowledge. People don't really know what's going on politically. They read something they get on the internet, but they don't really read. They don't really know what's going on. And that gets people really upset. You get the nutty people out there, like what just happened to Charlie Kirk, a nutter who just didn't know, doesn't even want to know. It doesn't matter. Sad. And what's really interesting is that Charlie Kirk, I'm not overly familiar with him, but I do know that he has a sense of humor. If you go to my artistic whimsy page, you'll see a caricature I did of a fellow named Nick Adams. I heard him speak. I love what he said. He said, "We got to laugh." I completely agree. We got to laugh. You got to laugh. Or as my friend Gar the Ghoul likes to say, high school classmate, he likes to say, "Life is funny, be funny back." That's how he does it. I think that's why Gar doesn't have the following he could have. There's other reasons too, but that's a big one. Slick art motivation. Good, be motivated. Yeah, but there's no money in comics. I mean, I first realized this about 11, 12 years ago. I was speaking to a Boys and Girls Club in Brunswick, Georgia. And I said, there's 5 different guys of cartooning out there. And I forget how I started it, but animation's one, and comic books is another. And so but there was one left over, and no one could figure it out. And when I said what it was, they had no idea what I was talking about. Comic strips. The kiddies didn't know. That was 12, 13 years ago. Today it's worse. I spoke to a group here. I was giving a class about 3 months ago, and nobody in that class knew what a comic strip was. If mom and dad don't pick up the newspaper, bring it home, the kiddies aren't going to grab the comic section and lay down on the floor and read them. And thus, again, we take humor out of things. So, yeah, there's no... I see a bunch of... And if you look at comic strips today, you don't have to be a hot dog artist to get in there. I'm not sure what they're looking for anymore. I think they'll take anything. They just need to. They're mostly, most of the comic strips are all old stuff. Some call them legacy comic strips. They're ones that basically have already died off. I mean, the deal with Charles Schultz with Peanuts was when he died, the strip died. A lot of people forget that was 2001. Schultz just missed seeing the World Trade Center go down. But anyway, not just because he died earlier that year, but you know what I mean. But so that's killed that. Mort Walker did Beetle Bailey. He already had assistants working on it, like my friend Bill Janoka and his sons. But today it's still being made, and it's just cause. And it's comics. What's left of the syndicates are terrified to put something new up there because it won't sell. And the newspapers are trying to get rid of the strips anyway because they won't put advertising there. If you want to do something yourself, go right ahead. Don't worry about being in a newspaper, though. Oh, this is a turtle. I didn't put that. Oh. Bill Amend, who does Foxtrot, is actually a really nice guy. He's a friend. He's a good guy. He's way over in California, but he's a good guy. Yeah, Foxtrot's pretty simple. Something I learned, Peppa Pig. Where's my Peppa Pig? My friend Melissa gave me this. Oh, where's Peppa? I have to try to pull Peppa's head off. Oh, Peppa's slid away somehow. Anyway, Peppa Pig was a joke. A guy who could really draw was sitting around there. They're talking about what could we create, what we could come up with, and so he jokingly drew that pig thing. He said, "Look, let's sell this," and it sold, and now he's made a ton of money off of stupidity. But yeah, so you don't have to be a great artist. And I know some folks who can't draw the way out of a paper bag. I'm sorry, what were the other ones you had? The Foxtrot, Blondie. Oh, Blondie's out. Oh, I almost worked on Blondie. I was asked to work on Blondie. I did not. It was at the time you had to use a certain pen and a certain nib and a certain ink, and it was all a certain board. That's the only way you could do it. This is back in the early '90s, around just after I had my PO box, mid '90s, somewhere in there. Anyway, but it was going to be too much to try to, at the time I was full-time working with a job that I have a pension from, which is why I'm living easier than a lot of my cartoonist colleagues who have no pension unless they have a spouse who gets one. Anyway, it was just going to be too much work because of everything else I was doing. And it was never going to net enough money, and so I shied away from it. I said, I knew. But I know and the fellow who works on it is the son of the creator, and he's still with us. He must be 90 now. He's over in Clearwater, and that's Dean Young. Mutz, well, I've never quite understood Mutz. Patrick McDonald's a nice guy, and wow, is this strip popular? I've never quite understood it. I mean, I know what he's doing. I love it. It's an homage to Katzenjammer Kids and Crazy Cat. But I just never got into that myself. He's actually a very good illustrator. And Bill Watterson's one cartoonist I've never met. But Watterson's actually, for what I've seen some other work he's done, he is a good artist too. And I think his strip's actually very well done storytelling-wise. And Zitz is Borgman and Jim Borgman and Bill, not Bill Shore, Bill, I get hit in the head here by them. Anyway, they both are very good artists. That's interesting you brought up. I think you brought up some ones I think are actually well drawn, not the ones that aren't well drawn. I think Pickles is on the. That's Brian Crane. I've met him. We talked, but it's okay. Whose Instagram? McDonald's. But yeah, Bill. I think Bill's. I was connected with Bill until the hacking, and I haven't gone. I could send him a friend request, but I haven't. I'm not. I was with the National Cartoonist Society, so I knew everybody almost. I mean, if they were a member, I knew them. We all did. Yeah, the Foxtrot, Bill Amend. Good, really nice guy, really good guy. I think his daughters are working on it now, because he's getting tapping 70. I think Borkman's tapping 70. I think McDonald's only in his mid-50s now. Maybe he is 60. We're all getting old. Dean Young's 70 and 90, I believe. It would have been neat if I was working on Blondie because it was being done in Clearwater, and I was only about an hour and a half away. But a dear friend of mine was working on it, and he was telling me all the travails, and I just didn't want to go through it. A lot of demands. And eventually that all went away. Now Blondie's mostly done, as most strips are, digitally. I'd be curious if, I doubt McDonald's doing it digitally. He may have been forced, but I can't say. He was so dedicated to the way they were done 80, 90 years ago. That's a good question. I stopped being a member of the National Cartoon Society. One, the membership dues, but that's not the one. That was a lower reason. The number one reason was all the really, really good cartoonists like Jack Davis and all had died. And I used to be able to hang out with those guys. And it was so much. Jack was a friend. But it was great hanging out with Don Orheck and a great, great guy who did Archie, Stan Goldberg. Stan was all great. He and I would talk politics. And his wife, Pauline. You get to know the spouses. There was great groups. but they had died off. And then the other thing was I was Florida chapter chairman, and I couldn't get out from under it, and no one would take my place. And when I tried, it was so that was the other reason I stopped, so I could stop being. It's people still today think I'm Florida chapter chairman. We've lost most all the. There's still cartoonists here, but not like there used to be. Will Eisner was here, and Don Martin was here, Dick Giordano was here, and so many. They're all dead. It had something called the Orlando Con, comic book convention. A bunch of those guys would show up for it. But when I was a young person, so I got to meet them when I was young. It's neat. See, folks today don't even know who a lot of those folks are. The people doing comics that don't know who Will Eisner is unfathomable to me. I just don't understand how that's possible. But I've talked to some. I just went to my first comic book convention. Well, I guess I went to one earlier this year for a bit. Went to one in Daytona Beach a week ago this past weekend and saw a bunch of old friends, and we were talking. My training is all comic books. I just never. I mean, I've done some comics, but it just doesn't pay well. Advertising's where it's at, or was where it's at. How's it? Hope this is looking okay. Well, that's what the comic strip syndicates hope. You think that this will never ever go away. Peter Bailu always lives on, but how? If you look at his uniform at all, it doesn't really match what they're wearing. Uh, but it's because they have to keep. It has to look exactly like Walker drew them 75 years ago, because that's the idea of copyright. If you change the outfit, then people could swipe it and say, "Oh no, this isn't." They could swipe it and say that their uniform, their drawing is just a different one, and that would be legit. So you have to have them look exactly the same. That's a problem. Um, and I think the problem with Peanuts is that they're basically rerunning. That though the strip existed from 54 until Schultz died in 2001, they're now getting to the end of that run and are going to have to rerun it all over again. And I know that they're not running the entire strip. They're picking and choosing what's good and not. So they're keeping some of it out. But I don't think that's right, because it should be open to others to get in there. But who's reading newspapers? King Features has Comics Kingdom, and you can subscribe. Like my friend John Rose, who does Snuffy Smith. The only way you make money from comic strips in newspapers is having yourself in a lot of newspapers. The problem is we don't have as many newspapers than even 5 years ago. So as the newspapers go away, you have less strips out, you're making less money. John, I kind of feel bad for him, because he's also kind of stuck, because it's a contractual thing. My Swampy's Florida was intended to be a comic strip, but I wanted to teach Florida history, so some of my syndicated friends came to me behind the scenes and said, "If you do it, you'll never do Florida history." So I pulled it. I'm kind of glad about that, because I'd still be working if Washington Post Syndicate was going to take it, or we're on the verge. I don't know if it would have really have happened. It may have happened, yeah. But anyway, there were some people that really were pushing me to get that out. I had a lot of support. Anyway, but I'd be still doing it today probably. Ugh. It's like having one hit song and singing it every single week for 50, 60 years. It's a lot to do. No, I did not. Well, understand Rob Smith is a very common name, which is why I added Junior, and why I don't go by Robert Smith. There's a lot of there's a comic book artist, Bob Smith, and there's a number of Robert Smith in cartooning, much less in comics, much less in comic books. That's another problem I had. So I added Junior to it to help, but it didn't. I don't know if it really made any difference. Yeah, there's a political commentator right now named Rob Smith, and there's someone else named Rob Smith. And I've been contacted about selling my I'm not doing it. I'm proud I was early in. A lot of folks think because I'm doing this, I don't do it. I'm old fogey who doesn't work in digital. I was doing digital before digital was there. I was using Wacom tablets before they were Wacom tablets, training people to use them. But again, they just never could keep up with me. Waste of money for me. Well, thank you for all the exchange here. Yeah, they probably are. Again, my website's not doesn't. It's the. I mean, you go to robsfitzhugh.com. I think it says something like website coming back soon, and it's not. I don't plan on doing it, but I just left it there. But I use it for it's connection to my email addresses, and that's what I really use it for. I've had those for almost 30 years. Okay. Darker green. And anyone here wants to click the thumbs up, I appreciate it. I'll be doing a live improv. Oh, where am I going to be? I don't think I'm doing Saturday because I got to go celebrate someone's 96th birthday. But Sunday I'll be out here. I'll be here on YouTube, I believe. Yeah, and here's here's two things to think of. There's your name, and then there's not your name, whatever your real name is, and then there's Jaderade. If you use your real name, people will be easier to find you and hire you, or they'll be if they're considering you for a project, they can look you up. If you go by Jaderade, you run into all kinds of problems because who's that? It's like who I think soap operas and some other things they use a they'll say you know cartoon that comes to mind from the Miami Herald, Bill Kitchen. Anyway, so let's say Bill Kitchen. So you use Bill Kitchen as your actor name, but it's not your real name. Well, frankly, you could die and just get someone else to be Bill Kitchen for whoever's using it. So that's kind of a dicey thing you're doing. It's up to you, but do think about that. And don't think about things being catchy because catchy depends on what century you're in. But catchy's not consistent. What was catchy 30 years ago is not catchy today. Or you can just come up with a project and just realize if you come up with that project, you are stuck with that name. In that, if you want to use that name for your. The other thing, you have to make sure there aren't a lot of other people using it so they can find you. All little things to consider in the social media world. But if that gets you to work, gets you to get results and get things done, then go do it. Do it now. Don't wait till next year. Don't say, I'm going to do better next year. I'll worry about that. No. Do it now. It'll get you to get things done sooner. What's that purple? What's kind of morbid? Well, always face reality. Don't try to. Don't try to. Don't, we're only here so long, then we're gone. We live and die. Clock is ticking. Some like to say, right now is the youngest you'll ever be. You're never going to be this young again, however old you are. That's why it's important to realize you need to get things done. One thing I've done a lot, but I haven't been looking for fame or start, and I just want to make sure I can pay some bills and help with my community. I do a lot of community work, environmental, political, historical. In fact, I'm going over to the local historical museum and drop off some books that apparently they don't have. I know I donated one to them about 15 years ago. They seemingly have lost it. Let me give him another copy. I think that's real important. Being involved, not to make money, just to be involved in your community. You should know your neighbors, know the people around you. Be involved. Invest yourself. Well, I don't like the stock market because those people don't want to invest locally. They just want to make money. I don't like that, and they know it. Those who've gotten around me. I'm not quite about such things. Put too much time on this turtle. My newest swampy book is about gopher tortoises. Learn all about them here in Florida. That's here. Cheryl Cornelius. Well, up here, Callaway, Marion County Museum, they don't have a copy of. I was shocked. I stopped there last Monday, I think, week ago Monday, and they didn't have a copy of Charlton W. Tebow's History of Florida. Well, I just picked one up for $2 someplace. So they need to have that book handy. It is the best book of Florida history. So I'm going to go drop it off. And I'm have another book. I thought I'd be pretty certain about a guy named Gilbert Tucker. Pretty certain they have that, but if they don't, I may just give it to them and say give it to somebody. And then the museum's having a talk this coming Sunday. I'll be at that talk. Then I'll come here and do a live afterward. Then my friend Annabelle is doing a talk about Northwest Marion County next Monday at 2, and I'll be there per that. Whoopsie. And I gotta fix that. Well, you'd be surprised how much what items you have that have historical value. A lot of people have no idea. But certainly your parents do, and that's for starters. I mean, something important for us who are doing research is ephemera, whatever that may be. I'm not sure what I have here. Well, here's something. Oops, just drop some. This is called the Village Post. It's from 1965, and it's actually involving where my family's from, down near Miami, Coconut Grove, and that's what this publication is from. And here they're talking about while they're in the midst of 1965. This is just after they'd filmed Goldfinger there. The only filming done of Goldfinger in Miami Beach was at the very beginning, and Sean Connery wasn't there. He was busy finishing up a film for Alfred Hitchcock. So, other actors were here, including I can't think of her name, the one who was painted gold, who's still alive, still with us, I believe. That she was here, and they filmed all around the Fontainebleau there, Miami Beach. Well, this was some other things that were filmed there. That's on the cover, and get this little story. But that kind of stuff's imperative for us to know. That picture's probably never been seen of again. I haven't seen this. It's been buried since '65. I got it out of that Oviedo bookstore, Cheryl. You know that one I went to? There it was sitting, and it has a story in it by Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, friend of the family. Sorry, now I'm into Florida stuff. You'd be surprised. Ephemera, as we might call it, paper items, are very, very important. There's all kinds of stuff. Hold on. I'm just reaching up and grabbing whatever I do real quick. This is a stirrer, also from Miami. Most of my stuff is not Miami, by the way. Most of my ephemeras, and I just happen to I just grab these first things. This is from Betty's Lobo Lounge. Lobo Lounge had a wolf on it. Actually, you see that wolf. And this was a free stir. There would be a whole cup of these when you walked into Betty's. This is probably from, a lot of these were very popular in the 60s. So this is probably from then, but I'm sure she had these in the late 50s too. But Betty's Lobo Lounge. I don't know if you can see it real well. Make it a little better that way. That's a wolf. It's flat on the back, somewhat flat. Someone had to draw it, someone had to design it, someone had to then make a mold and then make it. All those people got paid. Today, AI could do most of that. Nobody gets paid. Stinks. AI is killing our business. But that's something else. This is a very tiny part of my collection. Cheryl knows that. Oh, from the city of Orlando, recycle with pride. Anyway, what that tells you is that first of all, a lot of people just know it as the Lobo Lounge. They don't know about Betty attached to it. So that gives us some reference to work from and doing research that you wouldn't otherwise know. I know it's a cute little item, but it also tells a lot. Recycle with pride. This is from 1988, 89, when the city of Orlando I helped start this program, so I happen to have this button. But this tells us more about our recycling program. A lot of people think that's something that popped up in the last 10 years. No, this is 1980. I know we started in 88, as I was, again, two of us, me and Pat Bortz. Pat Bortz was the one leading the whole organization. I was creating a ton of materials, including a comic strip and a coloring book and all kinds of stuff. Holy cats. Today, none of that would be done. Not a bit. Reality of stuff. But thank you for being here, Cheryl. I still don't know when I'm coming into your neck of the wood. Kyle Gabriel has a pumpkin for me to draw on. He sent me a message. We were exchanging messages Monday. He's got a pumpkin. Now I don't know when I'm going to be there. I'll be in South Orange County, September 24th, 25th. I'm also trying to get with my friend Leanne Weiss. She's visiting from Texas. I haven't seen Leanne I haven't seen her in person since she got married 15 years ago. We talked on the phone a couple times. That's about it. I played way too much time on this turtle. Well, all of it will end up at a historical museum. Thing is, I need to get down to Miami, and that's something I really need to do soon. I just was in a lady was selling books, and I went over to her place where she's selling books. They got some wonderful Florida historical stuff, and turns out she has a friend who's 90 years old. She's part of the old family, not the Story family, the Moss family, and also the Barbers and the Mizels. We're just talking, she's relaying story after story to me. But I've been invited to come down. She's in Vero Beach, and I want to get down there and see her before something happens, because it will happen, and she will go away. I just don't know when. Next week's going to be really busy. I'm putting way too much time on this. The idea is do these fast so we can not put a big price tag on them. That's why. I'll finish that with black pen. So that was a lot. So I got that's ready, and actually I could ink these. Oh, I haven't done the fairy. Oh, by the way, place I do recommend to get some cheap paint, and it's good, is at Pop Shelf. If you have one nearby, it's a variation of Dollar General, but it's like a preppy version of Dollar General. Good prices. This tray was $5, and it's good paint, and it's iridescent. I advise to use this to do fairies and such. I thought I'd be doing more of those right now, but it's hard to get some extras there. I do the Yes. Works well with the fairy stuff. Fairy stuff ain't my thing. I'm trying to. It's part of this book thing I'm doing. I want this yellow. Where is it? And so I don't know if you have a Pop Smart near you, but there's some pretty good materials there and very inexpensive. I do recommend it. And I learned it in an emergency. I was in North Carolina, uh, about to work on an event in Greensboro, and I was needing some. I left my watercolors at home. I wanted some watercolors. So, lo and behold, I was picking up some food for this event. It's a hospitality suite. Also involved family members up there, and I came across Pop Smart, went in, and lo and behold, look at that, they got watercolor, and wow, did it work good. I still have that tray. It's actually right over there. I'm not using it at the moment. But for the clothing, this is where this comes in. Now this isn't. You can put a lot of money into the sparkly paint. I learned. This is the inexpensive version. It's a little darker than I was thinking. What, Cheryl? What are you up to? You still here? Oh, you were asking about the historical museum because you're wondering if it was Seminole. My next stop at Seminole Historical Museum, though I was just telling folks about it, getting them to go there a few days ago, is going to be December 13th, I believe. And if you don't know, I'm not sure you're here, Cheryl. Oh, there you are. Yeah, usually I do Dr. Steve Brooks' event, but he's having it a week earlier, so I'm going to be part of the St. Lucia Festival and not have an event to go to necessarily right afterward. But I may go to my friends who do a wonderful Christmas party if they're still doing it. I need to give her a call. I need to put that on my list of things to do. Oh yeah. Now I have another bottle of iridescent paint I can't get to. It'd taking some chances I would do on this. Application out of the way. It's just hold on. I got troubles. I will share something a little more nifty from my collection. This is beautiful Florida, from the Florida East Coast Railway. This is dated, I believe this is 1920. This is before the hurricane, 23, 24. It's a wonderful book, and yes, it's in plastic. It's got a few years on it. So I've got it in plastic, but came with a little ribbon, and it's got some wonderful photos. Wonderful photos, quite something. That's right there. Here's the other pop shelf. That's a $5 tray right there. Cheap. It comes with a top, which is let me put that back on there. But it comes with a top. It's really neat because you can carry it anywhere. But here is. There it is. This is more expensive iridescent paint. In fact, it's got a child-proof lid, which I hate. Just get this brush. You won't, and something because I've done this here before. You really can't see that I've added it. Really hard to tell. If I put this up on Fine Art America, you really can't tell. I'd have to start moving it around a little bit. Kind of see it. But this is much more serious. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I haven't had those two. Steve, after he broke up with a lady friend, he did not have his Christmas party So it's about 5 years ago. So I just did St. Lucia. If I can go to the Boltlers Christmas party, that would be neat. They have an incredible setup. I got this from an art store, DK Art Supply in Leesburg, and it's Winsor Newton, and it's a whole bottle of this stuff, and this is just the silvery iridescent. You get all kinds of colors. So I'm actually adding that. Actually come in here and do a little bit of this. I'm going to add a color around it. Now, do you do anything at Deviant Art, Jada Raid? Because Cheryl happens to be connected to somebody named Tabitha with the same last name, who does a lot of work over at Deviant Art, which at one time was a pretty dark place. It's certainly changed. It used to be only pretty much all. I guess I first saw it in the early 2000s. It was all mostly naked women and blood everywhere, and monsters, and pretty disgusting. It's clearly changed quite a bit. Okay, well, you can look for Tabitha Cornelius. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She sells artwork over there, doesn't she, Cheryl? And she works pretty much only digital, which I think is unfortunate. See, a lot of folks don't realize what you're doing digitally now is not going to be the digital you're going to be doing 10 years from now, which is just like it's not the digital we were doing 10 years before this. I'm using a Photoshop program from 20 years ago because that's when it stopped being something I needed to use. What they've got today is outrageous. It's absolutely, there's no reason for it. I have no use for it whatsoever as it is today. I need that earlier version, and nobody really has anything quite like it. That earlier version was just practical, and you can get your results done. But the one today is geared toward designers and photographers, not to people who draw. And yes, most people aren't drawing anymore on paper. I'm one of the few. Well, I'm afraid that may be true. That I show her clients want it. I'm not sure what that means, Cheryl. That show her. If you have a link to Tabitha's DeviantArt page, I don't think I've been to her DeviantArt page. So if you have a link to it, you can post it, and the Jada Raid here can track it down. Yeah, it's been Tabitha that's kind of convinced me I need to be doing something. Well, Tabitha and some work I was doing traveling to people's houses convinced me I need to be doing fairies and all that stuff. I don't need this anymore. I'm done with this. I think this bottle is about $5. So if you wanted a whole bunch of different colors, it's very expensive. I'd say go to. It's not as it isn't as sparkly as this is as Winsor Newton, but for $5, what the hey? Cheryl, you got a link for Tabitha? Yeah, I could probably search it. Well, I don't know if I can actually. Here, I'll leave it up to you. Let me keep doing what I'm doing. I'll get off track. Got enough problems. Yeah, Cheryl, my Twitter account was hacked today. It's been a fun day, let me tell you. Okay. Yeah, you just plop the link in here. Cheryl, Tabitha's very, very good, but I think she constrains herself with the digital. And as Jada Ray points out, believe if Jade Raid's a similar age as Tabitha, which I would suspect, that you all will be somewhat slaves to AI overlords. I may repeat that. I may forget where it came from. I'm sorry. I'll be dead, or at least I'll plan to be dead on that day when that happens. Yeah, I don't go through self checkout. Refuse to. As I say to the checkout folks, I want you to keep your job. We need people to have jobs. We're losing jobs by the carload because of that. The thing is, we've been doing AI stuff now for some 40, 50 years, but we don't want to recognize it. Being hacked is awful. Well, if I don't, she should be. I think I have this so you can post links. If they're posting it, it'll be okay. And I don't think it matters. I mean, how do they find? Why was I have 3 Twitter accounts that really. I guess my Twitter, Rob Smith Jr. 2 and Swampy, Florida, have some similarities. My Rob Smith Jr. one I rarely use much anymore. So they don't how they happen to go after all 3 is I don't think it has to do with passwords. It has to do with availability. But who knows? I'm not a computer guy. I'm not a computer guy. Getting tired of my voice is slowing down. This is why I really shouldn't be doing too late at night. What time is it? Oh, it's 6:34. Holy cow. All right, I'll just finish this up here. And I'll go away. Oh, one of the reasons I'm doing this here is, as I say, I don't have a penchant to do this on my own. I need to kind of be forced or be at a meeting like last night. That mean, did you all see Cheryl? I'm way at this is the earliest I think I've ever planned out my Christmas print. I think I've ever printed it out so early, but it's I might alter it along. I've already sent it to Kyle Gabriel. It's the first time I've been in an interaction this close with the subject of my Christmas print too. And I'd like to work on it here. I thought about maybe not drawing it so big, drawing it smaller. Well, I'm not sure about that yet. We'll see. And it could be that I'm Rob Smith Jr., so I'm easier to hack. That's an interesting thought. It was thought that last year's was something coordinated. It was just too. Someone was specifically after me for whatever reason. Okay, I'm going to change my colors here. These are going to be different flower colors. Sugar Plum Fairy. I don't see any plums anywhere. What are you talking about? Yeah, yeah, that's true. It does fit in with the Christmas, all the Christmas ones. That's cool. Could think of it that way. Well, this comic book has fairies and dragons and all kinds. Again, I'm trying to reach the young crowd, your crowd, I guess, the Tabitha crowd. The interior artwork's all done. I just got to do the cover, and I've got that pencil. I just haven't inked it. I thought about working on it last night at the meeting and decided not to. And I penciled all these during the meeting. I thought I'll come on YouTube and I'll paint them. Here I go. slide stuff here. Well, actually, I've been often told that I just associate that with yeah, that's true. That does associate with Christmas. Um, yeah, I've been told I should be doing my Christmas print in the summer. And if I want to do my swampy Christmas book, which I've been wanting to do now for too long, I really also need to be doing that by summer. So it's too late right now. I mean, I can still do it, but I won't. There's a lot to do. So I went into a prioritization thing with the books I'm doing, and I want to get this one done, and the comic book thing, and then I'm going to do a book of story. I'm going to finish up Ross Allen finally, and I'm going to do a book of stories. Being in Florida. Though I may hold off a little bit so I can ask this lady in Vero Beach about her. I want to get a story from her. She's got them. She's been growing up around Lake Okeechobee down in the Cattle area. Should be really neat to get a story from. We'll see. I'm going to try to get to her before too late into October if I can. But I'm hoping to combine it with a trip to go see my grandparents' graves down in Miami. Hopefully that's okay. Did I switch brushes? Well, I used this one to put yeah, that's true. When I went and used this brush for this paint, I intended to go back to the other brush and I didn't. It just doesn't matter. I'm just getting them done. I'm taking too long anyway to get these out of here. Again, those fairies and all aren't my thing. I'm trying to make it work. But I've got a lot more to do. As I said, I did just add that one picture. What did I do with it? Oh, here. And this is on Fine Art American. Again, I did this about 3 years ago, maybe more, maybe 4 years ago. I don't have a date. I don't know. Okay. Oh, I see. I need I got a little. Let's get this. Oh, yeah, I was using a water brush. That's correct. The kitty? Which kitty? Oh, this one over here? Yeah. I penciled all these during a meeting last night, and I did the Christmas print. The Christmas, where is that? I've taken, so I don't lose things as easily. I take pictures of them and put them into a digital folder, and hopefully I don't lose that. And I'm keeping one on the phone, because I would like to be working on that shortly. Especially since I go to Gabriel's so much, I better be. Because Kyle can be pretty pushy about stuff, let me tell you. Hey, Rob, how's that picture coming along? I don't know where I'm going to get it printed. Ambrose the printer has printed these for 20 odd years, but he sold it to some people I don't care for, and he's still involved. But I may go to another. I just need to go to a historic printer. I think there's one in Sanford. I think. Yeah, They didn't print it in year before last because I was in North Carolina. So that was Pioneer Press in Mount Airy who printed that year. But one thing I hope for this year that I haven't, the last couple of years, I've not been able to get it to people. My life has been too complicated. I hope this year to be able to travel and really get the the prints out to people. So if anyone's listening from Florida and wants them, just gotta get with me. I don't mail stuff. Again, it was very possibly the U.S. Postal Service's website that knocked into my. When I was trying to get on it, when my Twitter account suddenly vanished. I don't know what's going on with it. I don't have to pay the bill until the end of the month, but I like to do a lot of things about it. That P.O. box is real important to me. I've had it for too long. I think if I can, I want to have it till I die, which could be any minute now. I think that works out. Okay, so what? Again, that Pop Shelf had some markers. See, I don't have a. There's Hobby Lobby and Michaels. They're lousy. Oops. Artwork. I think this was it, or that was it. Let's see. Let's see. I think that's really pretty much ready to go as it is. I think I will let it go as it is. This needs to be finished. Maybe I will just go ahead and stick around and finish it. You will want, on the Chris, that's why it's Artistic Whimsy by Rob Smith Jr. on Facebook. Also, I like big words. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for using the word whimsy. I've been doing this for about the watercolor brush. I've just been doing this for too long. I know I could use anything, but I get a little nutty about using certain things. And that's a problem with Tabitha using digital, is it doesn't give you the opportunity of trying other things. You get locked into what the computer wants you, what the computer will let you do. You have no flexibility to create something yourself. So if you want to try different brushes, whether it be a water brush, as you called it, or a regular brush, or one of these, it's something you do with trial and error, but you have to be doing it physically to do that. So there were writings I wish folks would read by a number of writers in the early part of the last century. I always point out Thorstein Veblen, who was pointing out that with technology, suddenly research and development goes into the toilet because you don't need it anymore, because basically it's doing it and it gives you the beginning and the end, and you have to work in between. And unless you change that beginning and end, you can't do anything different, so you're constrained. This is why AI is just murder to creativity. It has to be. There's no choice. And there is the issue that eventually it all can take over, and that's what you don't want it to do. Again, we have been using it for some 50 years. We just haven't been calling it AI, but it has been. Again, Veblen was writing about this stuff, basically writing about AI in the 1920s, teens and 20s. How could he do that? Because we were already working. He was working for the machine age. Well, do you need the details? And I fall into that trap. You start going after every little detail. You don't need every little detail. Where's that cat I just did? Look, I got lines on here that don't connect. I have lines I can't even explain. I don't know what the hell that is. All right, it's done. I could go in there and digitally move it and change it. But should you be doing that? Does it really matter? Because you're going to see the kitty. It's important. I've said this here before. I can look at this and work on this right here. And what really neat is I can look up on the screen and I'm seeing a reduced version of it. I'm seeing how really people look at things. Understand folks look at things maybe 10, 12 seconds and they're on to something else. And even if they really stare at it, they won't be doing it for more than 2 or 3 minutes, maybe even a minute. So I don't get too caught up in details, and that's something that digitals can really suck you into a deep, dark hole, and you have trouble getting out because you're worrying about every little detail. So, and look what I'm doing. So I pull this up now. Look at all the stuff I'm adding. Do I need to add it? Look fine like it was. What the hell am I doing then? Good question. Okay, get rid of that thing. I mean, so one of the great things of starting off at the tender age of 16 doing fast caricature is you learn how to knock things out. You learn how to get things done. You don't have time to go over details. You just get it done, get to the next person. They're waiting, and that's money. And you're expected to do so many. Really helps you speed up and simplify, simplify, simplify. And that's what I've said about what I'm doing here is I need to be doing these, so I'm knocking these out every 5 minutes, which obviously I'm not doing still. But I'll get to it. It's interesting, Gatorade, what Cornelius wrote about that Tabitha's clients demand her do digital, and that's ridiculous. If you buy something that's digital, you have nothing. You don't have anything. You have something you can look at, but it's nothing you can hold, nothing you can actually keep. You can store it, but you're storing it with somebody else. You're not storing it yourself. So you don't actually own anything. There's no tangible product involved. People are buying this stuff. Suckers. I know Tabitha's making money from it, but still, it's not something real. And that means people are accepting that. And that is where, going back to something that Gatorade, I'm sorry, for Gatorade said earlier was that having historical items is hard. And it is. We're finding people ain't keeping things. They don't understand value of history. And that mindset contributes greatly to it. I think that also helps me about trying to ignore details, as I'm a big fan of Jack Davis, a friend I mentioned from Bad Magazine. If you look at Jack Davis's work, you'll notice that he never really paid attention to a lot of details. Key really is to get to speed, get them done, get them out, get them over. That's why I need to. I'm going a little faster. I think I was a month ago, but I haven't worked at breakneck speed in a long time. Even Saturday I didn't. At drawing for those ladies. Yeah, the kitty I have I always said it's important to have a sense of place. Where are they? And I'm not doing that with these. And if you see my work, that's really strange. That's a big deal with me. And I originally was going to do ground and all, but I think I'm not going to. I'll just leave it like it is. It does make it a little easier for folks to steal it without a background. That's the only real downside to that. So now suddenly I'm doing this a lot faster. But I need to. Yeah, that lady I bought a bunch of books from last Wednesday, she had no books of poetry, right? Or did she have? Maybe she had. No, I don't think she had any. Yeah, the eyes are very important. Knowing how and where they fall on any face, very important. mentioning the comic strip Mutts earlier, and one thing Patrick McDonald does is he does in a strip Mutts, much as was done during, as I mentioned, Crazy Cat and Cats and Jammerkins, the early comic strips. They didn't get into detail about eyes; are pretty much two black dots. I mean, basically, so is Charlie Brown, but it's different. They really are they're very little expression. Because you're telling gags. And this gets back to don't do things for emotional reasons. You do them because you're trying to tell a story. Know your story. And I could create a whole story just about this picture right now if I want to. Yeah, I guess I need to get to Gabriel's here. He's got the pumpkin there. Of course, it seems like it'll never go bad. Over at Gabriel's Sub Shop, I drew on their pumpkin last year, and shockingly, it stayed together all the way into all the way into this year. I think he finally took it down in February, March. It was funny though. Then, as I was visiting a bunch of houses, I noticed they had pumpkins that had been out all since Halloween, too. And this is a Tombow two-sided brush. I really don't care for them, but making it work. I noticed in one of the videos from a few months ago, I was using one of my cartridge brushes. I don't know what the heck I did with those. At this point, do not know where they are. I don't know if that looks any good or not. Yeah, wherever it is you want them to look. Make sure there's an impression, though, that the eyes are always somewhat looking at you. That's a little tricky thing there. That's a dirty trick. Well, this will do what I need to do. Again, here I want to knock these out. I'm taking more and more time to it. They shouldn't obviously look at you. The side glance is bad storytelling. You kill a gag. I see so many doing that. If your gag's strong, you don't need to do that. If your gag is strong, you shouldn't do that. If your gag is weak, it's even weaker if you do that. Again, I was mentioning what's bad about self-effacing humor. That's self-effacing humor. Side look. Become rather popular, but it's not good. Recently. Our friend Mike Wilkie uses it a lot. God does great work when he doesn't cut into the container, in his container. The pumpkin. Is the pumpkin God or the pumpkin the container? I'm confused. Oh, something I thought I might start doing. That might work well here. I did this with a caricature of Nick Adams. It's an interesting addition that I think worked. Maybe if it doesn't work, let me know. I'm open to. Life is a constant experiment. should always be experimenting. So if you're near the kitchen, go get a can of beans, go and mix it up with your vanilla ice cream. There you go. That's a step in the right direction. I don't know if that helps or not, but it's an interesting way of maybe let that set, and I'll look at it from back here. Well, they're back to AI about that guy not letting things interfere. I don't know if that works or not. Oh, I didn't do it over here. I'm still playing with all this fairy stuff. What do you think? You like it with all that kind of lines? What's this? A slate gray? I became a fan of slate gray when I was in college. I like it a lot. Thumbs up, thumbs down. What do y'all think? What do y'all say, huh? And if you're new here, if you get a chance to click the thumbs up, I appreciate it. I don't say that hard at all when I'm doing Facebook. No. He when I drew on it, he just brought it in. He brought it in, gambling I was coming in within the week, and that's so he. That was it was almost a year ago. Next week will be, I think it was the end of September. And but then it lasted into February. Maybe it was March, and I think it was maybe March or April, because he was getting really, the owners, which are his family, his own family, they were saying they need to pull the pumpkin. So I was suggesting he should do something other than that. We were teasing with him. Easter, he should have some eggs I'd draw on, and draw on different things depending. I have a turkey, I could draw on the turkey. Well, there you go. So we got this one. I don't have this signed. Oops. Always sign your work and sign it so they can read your name. If you're going to sign it and they can't read it, what are you signing it for? It doesn't make sense. But I actually don't like signatures, but it is important. Look, I'll kind of hide it here. Oh, I didn't do this one. Oh, my goodness. I forgot. Oh, wow, there's more than this. Where's the precious using brush? What did I do? I just eat it. You all saw me use a brush. I lost the brush. Brush is gone. I don't know where it went. The side of it or somewhere. No, it's a ballpoint. I do not know where that brush went. Am I staring at it? Don't realize it. That's happened before. That brush, the Tombow. Because that did work. I thought that worked well. I had a grand. Oh, here it is. I thought I was all done. Let me just do these two. I don't spend so much time. And that's what the whole idea anyway, is not to spend so much time. I'll have this whole thing done. So all these boards were blank 24 hours ago. I could keep the eyeballs blank and they all could be little Orphan Annie. And something else to do, if you're still here, Jaderade, is to create that what would be creepy. I always thought that made her look odd. Who looked odd? What? But is to create a LinkedIn account. I lost mine, I've never replaced it. Number of things I didn't replace. Facebook won't let me replace my Facebook will let me replace my personal page or any of those. But somehow I'm going to get my swampy Florida back up. Oh, Little Orphan Annie looked odd. Well, again, it was simplicity. Like what Chester Gould was doing with Dick Tracy, and we're talking about Cassie Jammer Kids and Mutt and Jeff. They're all very simple, very, very simple. Because they're being printed small and there's a lot of text. So different from today. A friend Ernie Walden gave me some books last night at the meeting, and one is from 1870 something. And that book from 1870 something has teeny tiny type because they were always trying to shove as much as they could into a page. Today we would think that's odd looking, but that's how it was. Ooh, I got something up there. I'll have to fix that. That I might do digitally. I may do a second card this year for Bomar in Lakeland because they were a huge help for me. Maybe just for them. A huge help in all the move mess I had 2 years ago. I was going to do it earlier, and I've only been settled down doing art stuff again, as you know, in the last few weeks. I'd really like to get the comic book project entirely done here in the next few weeks if I can. I don't know if I'll quite do that, but I'm going to try. Before something happens that I can't. Yes, that's intentional, actually. Would you believe that? I need to do better about that, where you leave things more to the imagination. And also it helps with the speed issue, too. Okay, so we got that. Now, only thing I don't have these signed, and that I should do. One pen I'll definitely be using. I love, love, love this pen. I first discovered it probably 20 years ago now. It's a I forget what it's called now. You probably read it better than I. Whatever that is. But I really like these pens. I'll be using these for the Swampy Christmas card. I haven't. They were missing. I came up upon them when I was just been recently putting some stuff together. I need to find my cartridge brushes. That's what something I need to do. Go ahead and sign that a little better. And all this artwork will be available either eBay or over at Fine Art America or wherever fine dishes and hearts, glassware is sold. Okay, that's enough of that. Well, that's a pretty good production time here. Oh, I need to sign the turkey, or the turkey, the eagle. and a kitty. Let me sign that a little differently. Okay, I'm going to scan all these in and probably have them up on Fine Art America and wherever else. And well, I'll probably be back sometime tomorrow. And I thank y'all for being here. If you get a chance to click the thumbs up, thank you all very much. And yeah, Jade Ray, you should probably create a LinkedIn page, what the hey, and then you can create all the other pages later and then attach them all to LinkedIn. That'll help you. Tabitha should also be doing this, by the way. All right. Thank you all for being here. I'll probably be back sometime tomorrow, hopefully earlier than I was today, but we'll see. I got to go out tomorrow, so we'll probably be later. Thank you all for being here. I'll see y'all next time. Y'all have a good night. The time, by the way, is now 7:08, 8 minutes after 7 o'clock. Have a good night. Good night. Good night.